Though sales are very regional to the Ohio area, they are still attacked by large national brands in price and advertising wars in their own backyard. Hudepohl uses older brewing technology and have decided not to invest in modern upgrades, which keeps their production costs high. The company advertises more than any other brewery in the study, 16% of sales, with no other brewery spending more than 5% of sales on advertising. The industry is moving towards affordable premium beers, which shockingly doesn't cost any more than a traditional beer. Seems like a no-brainer. Similar to the rush towards super premium ice cream. Time has favored the larger breweries with better production technology and per unit cost. These lower production costs have caused the larger breweries to offer better wages than their regional cohorts. This has caused the industry to condense as small breweries just can't compete. Salaried workers are already paid on average $3 more an hour than a similar job in another industry. Small breweries are really feeling the pinch.
Hudepohl primarily sells their beers in Cincinnati, where the population is shrinking, particularly among their primary demographic. Cincinnatians also drink less beer on average than other Ohioans or Americans. The beer industry in the U.S. is concentrating to fewer, larger producers. There are strong unions, leading to higher wages than in most manufacturing industries. Larger companies are better able to automate to avoid this issue. However, the industry in general is automating quickly. Miller is building facilities in the Cincinnati area, in addition to other smaller competitors. Bob Pohl plans to trade up with specialty beers and fill the gaps that competitors leave in the market, trying to move national without advertising support, cutting local promotions to facilitate high margins for distributors, and counting on local loyalty. Bob Pohl can be optimistic, but he needs to recognize that the real challenges he faces as he tries to develop a national brand identity. As seen in this exhibit, in 1978, Hudepohl had lower gross profit than in the previous 4 years, and income from operations per share is at its lowest point in the decade. We can further see that Hudepohl's net income has decreased steadily from 1971 to 1978. All of these reflect the increased strains placed on the company by changing realities.
Value chain analysis begins by defining discrete activities performed by a firm and analyzing if these activities give the company a competitive advantage. In Hudepohl's case, their value chain needed to be revalued as they were slowly losing their competitive edge. Much to the dismay of Bob Pohl and his idea that intense customer loyalty in the Cincinnati area would forever support Hudepohl's beers, something had to change in order for Hudepohl to start making a profit. High rivalry promotes low profits, and unfortunately, Hudepohl has a lot of rivals in the beer-making industry. Brewing, bottling, and distribution are 3 critical activities performed by Hudepohl. In order to brew beer, you have many fixed and variable costs: equipment, brewing plant, labor, raw ingredients such as malt, corn, rice, and hops, and packaging. Brewing ingredients widely fluctuated with crop conditions and international trading, which gave Hudepohl little control over cost. In addition, they are at a competitive disadvantage compared to some of the larger brewers, as a discount was awarded based on volume. The same with packaging, which consisted primarily of bottles and cans. As far as distributing, Hudepohl allowed independent distributors to distribute their beer outside of Cincinnati. While there's a lower cost per barrel to sell to these independent distributors, Hudepohl made more revenue when they sold the barrels using their own distribution system. And as these distributors would deliver the barrels of beer, the drivers would stop and have a beer or two with the bartenders at the bar. This only helps solidify the rapport Hudepohl prided themselves on having with their loyal local customers.
Looking at these 3 primary activities to determine which contributes most to gross profit margins, we look first at brewing. This process is in the middle of the pack as far as costs are concerned. Refer to tables B and C for Hudepohl's total costs and revenues. The brewing process provided $1,225,922 in profit. Bottling is the process which is the most expensive part of the beer manufacturing process. The bottling process provided $7,599,436 in profit. Distribution is the process which is the least expensive part of making beer for Hudepohl. The distribution process provided $8,924,723 in profit. The numbers show that the distribution process provides the most profit to Hudepohl.
Hudepohl may need to expand past the Cincinnati market to remain competitive. With the arrival of large producers in their backyard, they are at risk of losing market share. At best, their poor productivity alone will drive them under. Hudepohl must begin immediately to improve efficiency and invest in their infrastructure should they wish to continue operations. Distribution channels will need to be heavily evaluated and improved or outsourced for efficiency. Advertising dollars are not productive within their current strategy. By leaving growth opportunities on the table, Hudepohl is hoping to fill the gaps that others leave behind. The problem with this strategy is that they may miss the boat entirely and be too late to recover. They need to move aggressively to snuff out their competition versus waiting to pick up the crumbs.